we summarize that by connecting to the essential part is to do whatever that makes our chanting more sublime and happy and more connected to Krishna. The rules and regulations are simply aiding tools to increase our chanting. If someone, by applying certain rules, his chanting is benefited, then it's recommended. If not, there's no need of taking so many unnecessary burden, like I think we called it a burden yesterday. So we're gonna continue reading, and just before that I would recite the invocation and the verse. It's the 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd to 24th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse to 24th. Shri Prahlad Vacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vendanam Iti Pusha Pita Vishnu Bhaktischan Valakshana Kritaya Bhagavata Daha Tanmanye Dithaya Uttamam. And let's see where we stopped. I marked it somewhere there. It's a very long verse. It's like 15 pages. So we can read paragraph by paragraph, and whatever something comes, something controversial or something that you would like to share with the group, with the audience, or whichever audience there can be, people, devotees will be watching this offline too, the rebroadcast. So don't hesitate. Your voice is always important and always cherishable to be heard. In other places, the following offenses are listed: to be against the scriptural injunctions of the Vedic literatures, or to disrespect within one's heart the Srimad Bhagavatam while externally falsely accepting its principles; to introduce different shastras; to chew pan and battle before the deity; to keep flowers and worship on the leaf of castor oil plant. It's get really intricate and into details. I think what we sort of concluded too the last time before that, how many of the rules and regulations are not for the deity, that Krishna doesn't take offense, but it's for us to have a safe space around the temple or in the temple atmosphere, so we don't offend each other, so we don't criticize each other, so and just to maintain this naturally nourishing environment. And if it's not there, again, that means something is wrong in our application of these different rules. It's a burden. And I supplemented that by bringing up a quote from, I think it's from the same verse, if it's going to be later on, that the temple worship itself was introduced specifically to retaliate offenses that devotees they would do to each other. And the previous offenses, not necessarily these ones, but some of the offenses that we read before, most of them, they were to be careful with like each other's reciprocation of being in the mode of goodness, communication, mode of goodness, association. Sit on the altar or on sit on the altar. Who sat on the altar before? Or sit on the floor.
My brother did.
Your brother did. Cool. Always wanted to do that. Or to sit on the floor, or to worship the deity without a seat. Prabhupada actually says specifically that to sit on the floor without a seat, it causes some problems. Like it's actually a offense, that the offense is there because it causes us health problems. I forgot how it's called, but something really, really not comfortable that happens if someone does that for too long or whatever. To touch the deity with the left hand while bathing the deity, to worship the deity with stale or used flowers, to spit while worshiping the deities, to emphasize one's glory while worshiping the deity, to apply tilak to one's forehead in curved way. That's me. Let's see if my tilak isn't good today. Sort of. Yesterday I read in Yamuna's biography that she had a beautiful tilak, and Prabhupada would say that how the tilak looks like is how you're like the beauty of the soul or something like that. So I always had a difficult time applying tilak because I just put it in such a haste. Maybe we can make I think Leah, she did like a workshop around tilak and I missed it. So I'll need to have a rewind. But if someone will have tips about tilak after, I'm really welcoming to share how to apply not a curved tilak. To enter the temple without having washed one's feet, to offer deity food cooked by an uninitiated person, to worship the deity and offer boga to the deity within the vision of one's of uninitiated person or a non-Vaishnav, to offer worship to the deity without worshipping Vaikuntha deities like Ganesh, to worship the deity while prospering, to refuse flowers offered to the deity, to take a vow or oath in the holy name of the Lord. So yeah, there are many, like, we're going through. Good morning, Rebecca, by the way. I forgot to say hi. We're going through the verse of Prahlad Maharaj, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 24th verse. It's kind of where we left up during the festival, and just a little point that I wanted to mention before I give it to read to someone else, if anyone of you would like to read. I forgot to share the screen. Never mind. It's too late. Is that yeah, these offenses, they're aiding tools to increase our Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada, he is very expert in applying them in the right place and circumstance. Like one of the offenses, like not to worship Ganapati, like not to worship Ganesh. And Prabhupada, he never allowed really any demigod worship, even Ganapati. That Rupa Goswami, he asks to start worshiping Ganapati in the Nectar of Devotion, if some of you remember. There was one temple, I think that was Chicago. They asked Prabhupada if they can specifically worship Ganapati, and Prabhupada said, yes, but you will have to give me double the amount of the collections that you do, or something like that. And Prabhupada, he was very, very like playful with these offenses, because again, it's something that should increase our love. And this is really the one of the spiritual aspects of devotional service that I connected to in the beginning, that the more we strict with ourselves spiritually, if provided we do it actually in a healthy, nourishing way, the more our spiritual bliss and ecstasy and taste for Krishna consciousness increases. On the opposite, when we do something material and we're more strict with ourselves, the more we are distasteful, the more we are grungy, the more we are revoke against whatever we do and it disturbs us. So that's really where to find the balance, because I mean, I myself, at least, I'm like in very deep down in the material sphere, dealing with all my material grunges and material the rebellions and so on and so on. And slowly, when I apply certain rules, I see that, okay, I'm not there yet. These rules, they're not helping me. So let me put them aside and let me focus on a rule that increases my devotion and gives me more taste, more flavor to continue to do what I was already doing before, which, chanting, we all should be doing. We all can connect to the aspect of the chanting and find where we are there with our practice. Hare Krishna, Kathleen. We're reading the 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd verse, where we left off from the last festival. We're still in the festival of Narasimha Dev.
Hare Krishna.
So if anyone is into some reading or sharing something, it's welcome to do so. We read like paragraph by paragraph and let's see what comes up. Who would like to continue reading?
Hey, I will.
Okay.
If one commits any of the above offenses, one must read at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Jai. That's
Jai.
nice.
I don't remember that. That's cool. I'm gonna highlight that and save it for later.
That's why Srila Prabhupada says that we should read at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day.
Yeah.
This is confirmed in the Skanda Purana, Avanti Khanda. Similarly, there is another injunction stating that one who reads the 1,000 names of Vishnu can be released from all offenses. In the same Skanda Purana, Reva Khanda, it is said that one who recites prayers to Tulasi or sows a Tulasi seed is also freed from all offenses. Similarly, one who worships the Shalagram Shila can also be relieved of offenses. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is said that one who worships Lord Vishnu, whose four hands bear a conch shell, disc, lotus flower, and club, can be relieved from the above offenses. In the Adi Varaha Purana, it is said that a worshipper who has committed offenses may fast for one day at the holy place known as Shokarava and then bathe in the Ganges. In the process of worshipping the deity, it is sometimes enjoined that one worship the deity within the mind. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakanda, it is said all persons can generally worship within the mind. The Gautamiya Tantra states, for a sannyasi who has no home, worship of the deity within the mind is recommended. In the Narada Pancharatra, it is stated by Lord Narayan that worship of the deity within the mind is called Manasa Puja. One can become free from the four miseries by this method. Sometimes worship from the mind can be independently executed. According to the instruction of Avirhota Muni, one of the Nava Yogendras, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, one may worship the deity by chanting all the mantras. 8 kinds of deities are mentioned in the Shastra, and the mental deity is one of them. In this regard, the following description is given in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana.
So dense with references. Would anyone else like to continue reading?
Read. In the city of Pratishtana, Pura.
If you could maybe come closer to the camera or microphone, it's personally it's a bit difficult for me to hear you.
All right, I gotta check the volume because I'm sitting right. Hold on, I'll try to. I'm sitting right here, so let me see what the volume is.
Oh, okay. For me, it's a bit too low, and my speakers is full blast.
I'm not seeing anything. I don't know why. Let me try to read louder.
Oh, it's better now.
Really? Okay.
Magic, Krishna magic.
Krishna magic. In the city of Pratishtana, Pura, long ago, there resided a Brahmin who was poverty-stricken but innocent and not dissatisfied. One day he heard a discourse in an assembly of Brahmins concerning how to worship the deity in the temple. In that meeting, he also heard that the deity may be worshipped within the mind. After this incident, the Brahmana, having bathed in the Godavari River, began mentally worshiping the deity. He would wash the temple within his mind, and then in his imagination, he would bring water from all the sacred rivers in golden and silver water pots. He collected all kinds of valuable paraphernalia for worship, and he worshiped the deity very gorgeously, beginning from bathing the deity and ending with offering arti. Thus he felt great happiness. After many years had passed in this way, one day within his mind, he cooked nice sweet rice and ghee to worship the deity. He placed the sweet rice on a golden dish and offered it to Lord Krishna, but he felt that the sweet rice was very hot, and therefore he touched it with his finger. He immediately felt that his finger had been burned by the hot sweet rice, and thus he began to lament. While the Brahmana was in pain, Lord Vishnu and Vaikuntha began smiling, and the goddess of fortune inquired from the Lord why he was smiling. Lord Vishnu then ordered his associates to bring the Brahman to Vaikuntha. Thus, the Brahmins attained the liberation of Sampaya, the facility of living near the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, yeah, we all, or at least some of us, heard this story many times. There's a recording of that. If you like, I can send you a folder or share with you a folder on my drive of Prabhupada's recordings of these particular stories, this story and many other stories. And yeah, it's very touching because there was no switch rice, if you noticed. There was no actually switch rice. I said switch rice and Nalini appeared. It's fine. You like switch rice, Nalini, eh? Yes, very good. We offered for Lord Ramachandra, we offered saffron sweet rice. But there was no sweet rice. The Brahmana, right? He was just meditating, but his meditation was he was so intensely absorbed in that archana that he penetrated through these gross elements, and he actually got burned from the sweet rice, the imaginary sweet rice. And yeah, it's kind of it's in other passages, Prabhupada, he appreciates too this pastime and other connections, how this archanam, smaranam and archanam, meditating on the Lord's feet, or meditating on the Lord and worshiping the deity, it's sort of a threshold to spontaneous devotional service. That's really where the magic starts to happen. Up until that, all the rest of the processes which we read about before, why there is so much rigidness and a lot of like shastra and rules and regulations and all these different things, because for that reason, to give us a practice by which we can start cultivating spontaneous devotional service. Hearing is always there, Shravanam is always there, Kirtanam is always there.
Can you please repeat what's the threshold? I spaced out and I don't want to miss that point.
Meditating and like the first stage of like spontaneous devotional service begins when we start worshiping the deity in a spontaneous way. Like the deity allows us to come to from sadhana bhakti to raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti. The four, I can locate this passage and share it with you. But before that, the other processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, they in the process of sadhana bhakti, which is always there. We're always gonna continue doing these processes. But really, when the magic starts to happen, like when the spontaneous devotional service is invoked in the devotee's heart, is when we execute this. We start executing the deity worship, and then from the deity worship, I think the next one going to be Vandanam, offering prayers, and then friendship and really friendship. It's like obvious, like how can you be a friend of Krishna if you're not on the spontaneous service, right? Like Arjuna, for example. But it begins in this archanam, and the threshold is smaranam, meditation on the pastimes. When the meditation on the pastimes becomes solidified in the sense that the practitioner doesn't have to churn his heart to meditate. Like he doesn't have to think, oh Krishna, how does Krishna look like? Oh my God, I don't remember. He has how many peacock feathers he has. Like yesterday, I heard Yamuna was asking Prabhupada, how many peacock's feathers Krishna has? And Prabhupada told her, any how's it called? A weird amount, it's called, like when it's 1 or 3 or 5 or 7, like that. So when the practitioner no longer is like forcing the meditation, when the meditation just comes in the heart spontaneously, then too the other processes they follow in a very spontaneous and nourishing and a sweet way. Hey, it's Prabhupada. Prabhupada? No? Hare Krishna, Patrick. Nice to see you.
Great. Well, so I have a question on you, Ramachandra, and perhaps on others. So you are saying
quickly was to share that he has a book, The Sweet Rice for Vishnu. He has the book, that story.
Oh,
He's
the
excited
pastime about that. Oh,
He's
thank you for
excited.
sharing with me. It's very nice of you.
nice.
Very nice, Jonah.
a great
Yes,
book.
Lady. Haladin wanted to ask everyone something.
Yes, I wanted to ask something. So, like, I have like occasions that I worship deities or that I even spontaneously meditate. You know, like most of the time I catch myself like thinking of complete nonsense. But sometimes also I'm like noticing like, wow, I'm like thinking of Krishna, or I am like singing Guru Vandana like spontaneously, you know, without, it just like appears in my mind, like other things appear in my mind. But it doesn't last anyway, and I don't really think that's like a spontaneous meditation or however you named it.
Yeah.
So, but then, like, what's that?
Yeah, it sounds that you're asking kind of like, where are you at, right? Although you have glimpses of spontaneous meditation and Krishna, you still see your own shortcomings and like, am I spontaneous? If I'm spontaneous, why I have all these thoughts and why this and why that? And it's like
Well,
confusing in a sense.
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to be like, I'm not too doubtful about where I'm at because that's quite obvious.
You are, I don't know.
But yeah, like I was thinking, like you mentioned, the deity worship as a start of like the even like the opportunity to come to the spontaneous platform or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's
Rupa Goswami says, when we do something for the deity that we don't have to do for the deity. Specifically, he mentions decorations in the Nectar of Devotion. Like, we don't have to decorate the deity. We don't have to decorate the altar or to sew like new paraphernalia, you know. But if we try, it's like a little glimpse of spontaneity. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of connect to your question that you're asking, okay, like I might have glimpses of that, but what does it mean that I'm like coming back to the not spontaneous mood, or is it so?
I really, well, I think like what like strikes me more is this point about like that it starts with the deity worship, like the spontaneity. You said spontaneity start with the deity worship. That's what you said.
Yeah, out of the 9 processes.
Maybe it makes sense in my experience. I mean, like of course, like the devotional service itself starts with Shravanam and then Kirtanam. And it's true, like obviously as we see people coming, like it's more easy, like the hearing is first, like hardly anyone comes right to do a deity worship. Like there are some people who do that, like would spontaneously come and before knowing anything, they offer the flower to the deity, but that's rare. Much more common is starting Shravanam, Kirtanam, and then from that, like eventually getting the idea to do some service for the deities. So it makes sense. And also like in my experience, if I do have this like spontaneous meditation on service, it's almost always about the deities. Like, so maybe that's, I mean, it's just like, I think I never heard that. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around it a little, which doesn't really work. Anyway.
It's like a new fresh concept for you, how deity worship connected to spontaneity.
It is, yes, it is. And somehow it makes sense in my experience. And somehow it doesn't.
Thank you for sharing your adventures with devotional service there.
And I want to go to the part where Shri Prabhupada speaks how to amend. Like he lists the things, like the list of the offenses, and then there are the ideas how to amend. And I really like that because it's just like so merciful. It's like, oh, like, you know, if you sit on the altar, and I can imagine if it's a big altar, you know, with all the steps and stuff, I can imagine it would be like really easy to sit on the altar, you know, if it's not like a little altar in our homes. not a big
Oh,
temple altar to sit on it.
not
I mean,
big sin.
that would probably be quite easy to do this offense. But anyway, so like for all of these offenses, it's not like, and then when you do that, you are condemned. There is like so many things you can do to amend, and it's almost like churning the nectar, because all the amend thing are like so nectarian. Like, yes, like go and read Bhagavad Gita, or like chant 1,000 names of Vishnu. That's like 9 rounds or 10 rounds. It's just
Or,
like
or offer gulab jamuns.
gulab jamuns.
I think it
Exactly.
was there. Yeah?
So I was like really appreciating of this structure, and also kind of like that we like, if we follow the sadhana bhakti program, we kind of like naturally do the amend. So
Yes.
so that's
Yes.
nice.
Yeah, that's true. Because your Prabhupada, I think while I was reading, or you were reading, or someone was reading, that Prabhupada asks the devotees to read at least a chapter a day of Bhagavad Gita. So.
Yes, he says. I think this Sanskrit. I think somewhere he says just like read through the Sanskrit every like once a day, like one chapter a day, the Sanskrit.
I
And
usually make that my Kartik vow every day to read the chapter, like the transliteration or the Sanskrit.
yes, I sometimes do that, and it's like so cherishable. So it's almost like, like it's not even like a punishment. It's more like a playful, like chastisement. Like, I don't know, I just like it.
Yeah, for me, it feels like very personal. Like I usually just, before I go to bed, I take the Bhagavad Gita and I just read. It takes 5 minutes. Some chapters even shorter, like the 12th chapter takes like 2 minutes to read. Really, it's like 20 short verses. And yeah, it's so, what I like about it personally, that it gives us association of just Krishna directly. That's what Krishna spoke 5,000 years ago. Wow, so cool.
I so much appreciate that you said it, like you do it and it takes like 2 minutes. I immediately felt embarrassed that I don't do it now.
Not that I do it either every day, but that's what I have in my mind.
But when I do it, it's exactly like Krishna is speaking, and it's like so cherishable. So as we are talking, I'm getting the inspiration to go back to it.
Yeah. Happy to support your inspiration. Would anyone else would like to comment on Haladini's question, or add something, or share something from your experience around strictness versus spontaneity in your practice? How does it appears in your devotional life? Okay, maybe we can do.
Here's Anandini. I have something. Something I'm pondering on right now. Like you were reading at the beginning about offenses to the deities, like if someone's doing an offering who's not initiated or not a Vaishnav, and then you speak about spontaneity. And so what I'm thinking about right now is that today we had the homeschooling kids here, and one of the girls, we cooked, and then one of the girls came and said, oh, can I do this? Can I do the plate for Krishna? Can I bring it to him? And I was so happy when she said that. I thought, oh, okay. I was thinking you made my day. So I was really happy that she wanted to do this, and I let her do it, and she offered, and she's not initiated. She's perhaps a Vaishnav in her heart, probably. She's of, yeah. So that's like, okay, so that's an offense. Yeah.
Oh my
But I was feeling so joyful, and I know it's really good for her, and so yeah, I'm just, my mind just goes around this, and what is an offense? What is amend? What is amending about? To whom do I amend? Is it to the deity? Is it to the devotees who have the temple and take care of it? Is it to myself? What is this amend about? Is it, yeah?
Like you had this really nourishing and blissful experience serving with someone who is not initiated, and oh my God, now you realize that you have to amend.
No, I don't think, I'm not realizing that. I resist that I need to amend for anything because of that.
Yeah, I'm too. I'm wondering why Prabhupada puts this there, and in many places he mentions actually that these there are like hundreds of thousands of these offenses actually, and in many places he mentions that Jiva Goswami actually he put them there for specifically to sort of adjust the smarta Brahmins, like the Brahmins were like very, very strict, so they approve the Krishna consciousness movement. We don't need actually any improvement. Like we were reading before we started the Archanam process, we read about Shravanam and Kirtanam, and here maybe that's why I feel, I wish maybe we should have started from the beginning, but with everyone. But we are reading in the past like 3 days that, and Prabhupada was mentioning there that the chanting of the holy name is sufficient. The chanting of the holy name by chanting. I'm going to read you this portion. It's in the highlights in the previous video. I put that in the description, like the highlights from the purport. And Prabhupada says there as follows: by chanting the holy name, one can reach the platform of love of God. One might ask, then what is the necessity of being initiated? The answer is that even though the chanting of the holy name is sufficient to enable one to progress in spiritual life to the standard of love of God, you know, what some silly rules. Love of God, the highest perfection of life, prema bhakti. By chanting, we get that. One is nonetheless susceptible one is nonetheless susceptible for contamination because of possessing a material body. Consequently, special stress is given to Archana Vidhi. One should therefore regularly take advantage of both Bhagavat process and Pancharatrika process. What are these two processes? That's what we read before we got into all these intricacies around worshipping deity. It's the really, Prabhupada many times says Bhagavat Vidhi is the core, the heart of devotional service. It's the philosophy and the chanting. That's what brings us to love of God ultimately. And the Pancharatrika is like the temple worship. And to me, what it means, Prabhupada puts it before, is that it's adjustable. In other words, we have to see really what is the time, place, and circumstance, and what is needful and what is a burden right now to increase someone's love to Krishna. And the rest is just like, the rest is detail. That's kind of what comes to my mind when I see all these rules. Because I mean, when we think about it, if Prabhupada would follow himself all these rules, he would not be able to come here to the West. Like Yamuna, while I'm cooking, I'm hearing this book about Yamuna's biography and her relationship with Prabhupada. So from the very beginning, she came to cook with Prabhupada, and she was not initiated. She was like, she wanted to go on a smoke break and drink water while cooking, and so Prabhupada, he would have to like depart to India right away, right there. But no, he understood, and he sets an example how what is really the essence in our interaction is to really connect to each other's spontaneity, in a sense of how much we invoking in each other this love to serve Krishna, in whatever way, in a externally clean way or externally dirty way. And if we can, why not? Like I remember when we were in Switzerland, when we visited you and Paramatma and everyone, when you did this wonderful festival. So we were kind of deliberating, like, should we clean the kitchen? How should we clean the kitchen? And Mother Malini suggested we should put cow dung everywhere and clean it. And yeah, that's like, if we can do it and it increases our devotional service, which I felt it did, it increased my service attitude, then why not? But if we somewhere in the desert and there are no cows, there are only goats, and we cannot smear anything in anything, so what, we cannot cook for Krishna and we're gonna fast? No, of course not. I don't know how well it kind of nourishes your inquiry, Anandini. But that's kind of what comes up to my mind.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate like you opening up to this broader perspective that, yeah, like one is the chanting, connecting with the holy name and love for Krishna, and then there's the deity worship. That's how I understood. And what's happening for me is that that I'm thinking, well, I'm going to commit offenses all the time. Like that's part of an offense. Perhaps I could translate to, I'm going to do something which separates me from Krishna all the time, every day, even if I'm having like a humbling experience that I'm not going to get it right. I'm not going to be perfect because I'm in this material context.
Yeah. Like Prabhupada says, we're susceptible all the time.
Yeah, and so it's and so it's not about like hanging myself up or anyone else for offenses. It's about focusing on that's at least for me, to focus on where can I create connection, where can I choose surrender.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening for me, hearing you speak.
Yeah, you're trying to see how it applies to you and how it can serve you as aiding tool to create a more nourishing environment for your Krishna consciousness.
I would like to add to this discussion one more point. And that's like, we are not really offering to the deities, but to Shah Prabhupada. I think that's important there in this discussion. And then second thing that comes to me is like that this little girl, like, I mean, we don't have any idea where she is at in her relationship with Krishna. So, like, I mean, who are we to say like this is like offense because she's not initiated, or Krishna is not going to accept, or I don't know, but it's just like we never, and with anyone really, we have no idea like what's going on in their heart. So it's really like for ourselves to make these distinctions, and then that's why we go through Shah Prabhupada to like be safe. It's a safe process because Shah Prabhupada is more merciful, and he is like, he doesn't, I mean, not that he doesn't mind our offenses, but he doesn't take our offenses. So, and I really like, Anandini, what you said about the offenses, that it's like the interpretation that you made about like it's the things that take us farther away.
Yeah, thank you for this bring. I think for me it was like a glimpse into pure devotional service, this point of view that, I mean, we don't have to like see that as an imitation necessarily of seeing others as everyone as a pure devotee, but we can really connect to that in the sense that, yeah, we don't know who that little girl or who that person who came once to the temple or whatever, or did little service to Krishna. Prabhupada actually, I remember there was a letter that they wanted to get some help from someone, and devotees were saying, oh, Prabhupada, he's not initiated, he's not this, he's not that, how can he do any service? And Prabhupada, he said, well, he is doing service, so he is a devotee. What are you talking about? You crazy? So yeah, we can connect to that, not out of like, not jumping over a few stages of like pure service, but no, we can be pure in understanding that no, actually there is a very, very high possibility that anyone who comes, he comes because he's already initiated by Prabhupada, because he already had some touch with Srila Prabhupada in his previous life, or maybe even this life, or like that. Yeah, I really like that point. It kind of opened my heart there. Thank you, Haladini.
That's where I think the like the rules like that are important in the sense that we don't necessarily know where everybody's level is at. So then it just has some sort of guideline to make sure. I mean, you could say maybe she maybe people are very advanced, but when it comes to stuff like that, like for example, serving the deities or cooking in the pujari in the temple, then you need some standard there. So
Yeah, order
somebody gets initiated. Like if somebody gets initiated, it doesn't necessarily show that somebody who's just getting initiated may be as advanced as somebody who's been in the movement for years, just as like a faker, right? But at least it shows some prerequisite level of dedication, you know. And it's just because that's the way this world is. It's so hard to. There has to be systemized to some extent, because it just helps protect the system. The religious systems helps protect the spiritual growth. You get what I mean? Like the house protects the family. The house is not really, it's anywhere near as important as what the family is, you know, the family love and the relationships, but the house protects it, you know, because that's the way this world is, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I get from you, Keith, back to Keith Prabhu, is that you see it as like a sheltering reinforcement that Prabhupada and the Goswamis give us, but that's not the essence. That's not the essence, because the essence is much more deeper and intimate and relatable to everyone, maybe, like that.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's esoteric, like, you know, like if it's these Prabhupada came to reveal certain knowledge and to help people come to that platform. So then, because we're not on that platform yet, then we need a systematic way to help us deal with the material nature and to protect our spiritual growth, you know. It's not like somebody until they become nishta, then their faith is firm, right? But then if somebody is before that, or faith is not so firm, so then we need to make sure to really keep proper association and have certain strictures that we can help protect ourselves, you know. Whereas somebody who's really advanced, they can go and pretty much they're strong enough that they can raise other people, you know, without, they may not need so many support systems to keep their devotion going, you know.
Thank you for that, Dr. Keith. So, who would like to enter into the Vandanam mood of devotional service? Who would like to continue reading? I can share the screen if some of you don't have the book handy. Let me do that right now. Vandanam number 6.
I'll do it. Vandanam. Oh, sorry. Vandanam. Although prayers are a part of deity worship, they may be considered separately like the other items, such as hearing and chanting, and therefore separate statements are given herewith. The Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful in this connection. The following are some of the offenses to be avoided. A, to offer obeisance on one hand. B, to offer obeisances with one's body covered. C, to show one's back to the deities. D, to offer obeisances on the left side of the deity. E, to offer the obeisances very near the deity. Should I go on?
I want to ask before you go on about this, like being covered, the, with one's body being covered. Like, does it mean that we should offer obeisances naked?
Naked. Yay! I don't know. We can put that question to the managers. If we can do that, why not? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, but maybe someone does more. My experience with like deity worship is like absolutely zero, so I have no clue. Probably if someone tell me to do that, I will probably do that.
You mean if you were asked to offer obeisances naked, you would do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Does it contradict any offense?
I think maybe, I don't know.
Just kidding.
Depends if you have a mixed ashram with genders or not.
Ah, right. I forgot. So yeah, I have no. I don't know. Covered. Maybe it's like what comes to me. Maybe it's for men, like the upper portion, because sometimes men they work like bare chested, and like I was always taught like not to walk bare chested. Like in general, it's just not like kind of like gentleman like. So I don't know. That's maybe the thing. Cause yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we can maybe ask that Mother Malini or dear Govinda. Mother Malini, she has like an extensive experience with deity worship. I never worshipped a deity in my life, so it's not my field.
Should I continue?
Yeah, please, Kim.
Okay. 7. Desyam. There is the following statement in regard to assisting the Lord as a servant. After many, many thousands of births, when one comes to understand that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, one can deliver others from this universe. If one simply continues to think that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, even without performing any other process of devotional service, he can attain full success. For simply by this feeling, one can perform all 9 processes of devotional service. That's nice. Do you want me to go on?
Oh, maybe someone else would like to finish the verse
Okay.
or read. I don't know. Anyone would like to read too? Maybe someone. No.
I can read. Where are we?
Sakyam.
Sakyam?
Yes.
Okay. In regard to worshiping the Lord, oh boy. There we go. Okay. In regard to worshiping the Lord as a friend, the Agastya Samhita states that a devotee engaged in performing. It's blocked by your screen. I can't see. Performing something by Shravanam and Kirtanam sometimes wants to see the Lord personally, and for this purpose he resides in a temple. Elsewhere there is this statement: "O my Lord, Supreme Personality and Eternal Friend, although you are full of bliss and knowledge, you have become the friend of the residents of Vrindavan. How fortunate are these devotees." In this statement, the word friend is specifically used to indicate intense love. Friendship, therefore, is better than servitude. Okay. In the stage above Dasya Ras, the devotee accepts the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a friend. This is not at all astonishing, for when a devotee is pure in heart, the opulence of his worship of the deity diminishes as spontaneous love for the personality of Godhead is manifested. In this regard, Sridhar Swami mentions Sudam Vipra, who expressed to himself his feelings of obligation, thinking, life after life, may I be connected with Krishna in this friendly attitude.
Okay. It's so intimate, eh? Yes, Nalini, would you like to read the next one? Atmani Vedanam.
I don't know how to read that well.
Or maybe Daddy, he can read too, the next one.
Okay.
I think everyone is shy except you and Daddy.
Atma Nivedam. Nivedanam.
Wait, I can read them in big letters.
The word Atma Nivedanam, Nivedanam,
No, Vidamam.
refers to the stage at which one has no motive other than to serve the Lord, surrenders everything to the Lord, and performs his activities only to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee is like a cow that is cared for by its master. When cared for by its master, a cow is not in anxiety over its maintenance. Such a cow is always devoted to its master, and it never acts independently but only for the master's benefit. Some devotees therefore consider dedication of the body to the Lord to be Atma Nivedana.
Mommy, where were you?
And as stated in the book known as Bhakti Viveka, sometimes dedication of the soul to the Lord is called Atma Nivedanam. The best examples of Atma Nivedanam are found in Bali Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj. Atma Nivedanam is also sometimes found in the behavior of Rukmini Devi at Dvarka.
When one cared by its master, like a cow. I like that. Yay! Who wants to help Krishna? Yay! We finished the longest verse of the Bhagavatam. I'm feeling so proud of myself doing that in your association. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Haladini, for joining. Yeah, so I mean, we can go on reading, or if someone likes to share, you can share what's happening for them reading this verse, the half of the verse I think we read today. Before we started, we asked that question. Daru Prabhu asked the question of who achieved success by which process of devotional service. In the Ishopanishad, there is this indication of that we can achieve success by simply applying one of the processes. And Prabhupada in the Ishopanishad, and in the other portion, he mentions 9 different personalities that achieved success in each separately in each of these. And Daru asked that, and we kind of gave our answers, and I sent a mail already with that reference to Kim, to Daru, Prahlad, who is not there, and Keith, but we have new attendants to our Srimad Bhagavatam discussions, so if you like, we can all participate in that quiz again. Would you like to? So yeah, I remember the first one, Shravanam, right? That was Maharaj Parikshit. He achieved success by hearing the Bhagavatam from Shukadev Goswami. Anyone remembers the Shravanam? The Kirtanam, who achieved success by chanting?
Shukadev Goswami.
Shukadev Goswami. Yay. The third one is Smaranam, I think, right? Smaranam. By remembering the Lord. Who achieved success by remembering the Lord? Oh no. Here, I'm going to open the email that I sent you because I don't remember that myself.
Prahlad.
Okay. Prahlad.
You know, just a few pages back on the purport, you got the list of the whole people. You know, that's where you got it from, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was there in the middle. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
it's
should
right
remember.
there. But I don't remember. But I'm just saying, if you have trouble finding it, it's right. That's what it is.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but I sent you that too. So remember,
Next.
worshipping is the next one. Worshipping is Pritu Maharaj. Then serving the lotus feet of the Lord is
Lakshmi? Lakshmi?
Yes, Lakshmi Devi. By personal service, Hanuman achieved the result. By friendship,
Arjuna?
Arjuna. And by surrendering everything, we have two. We have an option. Bali Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj. Right, so I feel complete. Maybe tomorrow we can start tapping into the next verse and read the whole 5th chapter of the 7th canto together. Woo! Who is excited? Ah. Nalini, are you excited? We reading about Prahlad Maharaj Ji. Tavakara kavalavare nakam abhuta singam dalita hiranakashipur talubergam keshadanita narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. You want to chant for us, Nalini? You want to chant for Prahlad Maharaj?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Jai.
Hariva.
Jantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Narasimhadev ki jai, Morning Satsang ki jai, Gulab Jamuns, Pakora, Halwa, Sweet Rice ki jai, Tagora Premanande. Hari